Hello students, here in this video we are going to start up with the first topic of the chapter, that is departmental undertaking. Till now we have studied that private sector is one sector in which government interference is not there, and public sector is another sector in which government has its interference and its involvement. Public sector is a sector where government is investing and financing and supporting the firm, the company in any of the way. So departmental undertaking is one of the organization which is the most oldest and traditional form of organization. It is nothing else but an extension of the ministry. When the government wants to extend its hand, what it do? Each ministry establishes some different units, different enterprises, which function further with the help of the civil employees. So here, in short, to explain all the things, we have got the features, merits and demerits. Let's start with the features first. Overall control of government. Now, the departmental undertaking can have an overall control either of the state government or of the central government, or together it can control the organization completely. That means that each decision which they are taking has to be approved either by the state government or by the central government, whosoever is controlling it. Then we have the next point is no separate legal entity. Entity means identity. So here the company is known by the name of the ministry under which it is established. It has no separate entity and it is need not to get registered any of the Companies Act 1956, right? Then the next point which we have is fully financed by government. So the government is giving the complete budget. Every year government announces its annual budget, and this annual budget is the time when the fund is getting decided for these departmental undertakings as well. So the whole money on which the company is functioning and performing its every big to small activity, that fund is coming from the government. If it is under control of the central government, the budget will come from the central government, apart from getting the help from the state government if it is established under the state government. Next we have revenue gets deposited in government treasury. That's the short term I have written over here. So that's government written. Fine. Revenue is the profit. Now when these enterprises, the profit which they are generating, where does it go? It goes into the treasury, into the pocket of the government, which the government is further spending on the welfare of the people, on the welfare of the nation. So government also needs to have their source of income so that it can run its functions smoothly. So these enterprises is one source of income through which the government enterprises are, or the government itself is running smoothly. So the profit which is coming, so the fund is coming from the government to run the business, and entire profit is again going back to the government. Next one is operated by civil servants. Now who are the civil servants? Civil servants are the ISPCs which we hear. They are being recruited and compensated. Compensated means the salary of these civil servants are also being given by the government only. These civil servants who are working in this enterprises, in this organization, are recruited, are hired, are invited by the government, and when they work for the organization, they are being paid a salary by the government only. Then we have direct control of concerned ministry. Now who is going to control them? Who is going to look after the decisions which are being taken by these civil servants who are performing the job in the certain enterprises, certain organization? So they are under the complete control of the concerned ministry. If it is a petroleum ministry, any enterprises which is related with petroleum, that particular minister will look after the activities, or the officials, the bureaucrats will look after the decisions and the activities which are taking place in that particular enterprise. Then we have can be sued by the procedure of suing the government. Sued means to file a case against the next party in the court. So the way if one person is filing a case against somebody in the court, in the same way anyone who is not satisfied or happy or has faced some fraudulent activity, or if any unfortunate incident has happened, so has the same this company can also be sued. Anybody can sue this company, and this enterprise can also sue the third party who has done any kind of fraud activity with this enterprise. So that was all about the features. Now we have the merits. Now you will find some of the merits and demerits very similar with the features which we have discussed right now. The first merit is that it is easy formation. Now we have just completed the topic of joint stock company, and I know that you are now completely aware that creating a joint stock company is not an easy job. It requires 4 steps which has to be performed in a very specific and detailed manner. Whereas over here, departmental undertaking is an enterprise which is very easily established under a concerned ministry, so that legal formalities, registration by the registrar and formalities and paperwork is really not required. So that's why it's an easy formation. Next one, we have effective control. Now why is it an effective control? Because it is direct and centralized under the concerned ministry. So they are the one who are checking the each working of the departmental undertaking, so that any wrong decision or wrong act is not performed. Next is optimum utilization of funds. As you are aware, these funds are coming from the government only, fully financed by the government. So here in this, the budget is being prepared, their accountability, their audit means to recheck the accounts. Every single thing is happening in such a beautiful manner that no money is getting wasted. That means before investing funds in any project, the project is getting analyzed properly. It is being checked that how economical it is, how much revenue, how much money, profit is it going to generate. So that's why it is optimum utilization. There is optimum utilization of funds. Then accountability. Accountability means to give the feedback to the government. Here, since the money which is coming in this enterprise is coming from the government, the revenue which the enterprise is generating again going to the government, lesser more which is the money of the public. So they need to be very accountable towards the public. They have to keep on telling the public where they are investing the money. Is the money getting invested in the correct format or not? Is it giving a proper returns or not? Every single thing has to be shared. Next one is public revenue. Public revenue is just related with point number 4, which we have discussed over here. It is a biggest benefit that entire profit is becoming one of the source for the government, which the government is going to invest on the public only, for the welfare of the nation, for the welfare of the society. And last one is secrecy. As I have written, for an example, defense is one of the section of the government where the highly secrecy is maintained while they operate in the fields. So this enterprise maintains the sensitivity of the operations of the activities which they do. I hope the merits are clear and easy to understand. Now we have the demerits. Demerits are, the first point is inflexibility. Now what is inflexibility? Which is rigid, which is fixed and not moving, not flexible. That's why we call it inflexible. Why is it inflexible? It is inflexible since anything which is happening is already decided and done by the top officials, by the ministers. The people working over here are not having that liberty to take their own decisions. The things are happening in a very fixed manner. The things are very much rigid. The things are very much fixed at a certain point where people cannot use their own creativity, their own invention, their own ideas. They have to follow a certain pattern, a system of working. That's why it is inflexibility. Next is the lack of motivation. You must be thinking, civil servants are working over here, such a brilliant minds are working, still there is a lack of motivation. Lack of motivation because here the activities which are happening or the promotion which is taking place on the basis of seniority and not on the basis of efforts. So the one who is putting a lot of hard work, taking too much of initiative, is also not getting that much of I must say incentive that he may put more effort to reach ahead. So that is a lack of motivation, since the hard work is not equally proportionate to reward over here. There is lack of financial autonomy. Autonomy means independency. For any single activity, when they are asking for a funds, that has to be taken, or that has to be obtained from the government. They don't have enough liberty. As I said, there is no flexibility to take their own financial decisions, to take their own creativity and ideas. So financially there is no autonomy. For each single thing they are completely dependent on the approval by the ministry, by the higher officials. Inefficient management. Again a question comes, when there are such a brilliant minds working, the civil servants, right? How the management can be inefficient? The management is efficient because these highly brilliant minds, these civil servants, are highly burdenized with the work of this particular enterprise. The paperwork is so much, the documentation work is so much that they are burdenized with that work. So they cannot give their complete, what should I say? They cannot give their complete input in any kind of work which they has been assigned to them. If they're looking after work, they are not able to manage the other. That's why sometimes the management get inefficient. And there is red tapeism and bureaucracy. The term over here explains in a simple language as delay. Again I said, for every small decision, it has to be approved by the top officials, by the ministers. That's why a decision is being lingered on a lot. There is a red tapeism, that means delay in decision making. Anything which has been decided, it takes a lot of time in the execution, in the following. So the things are happening very nicely, but they take much time in its completion. Here we are winding up with the first type of public sector enterprise, that is departmental undertaking. In our next video, we are going to discuss the topic statutory corporation.